High class. So welcome again to another topic, and today we'll be looking at what we call Gerundio. Remember, in Spanish we always start with what we call an article. So in English it's not necessary that we use the articles. We say the gerund, el gerundio. So the gerund talks about actions that are continuous but doesn't show the person who is doing the action. In this case, we don't show the subject. For example, someone can say going. So who is going? We don't know. Someone can say talking. So who is talking? We don't know. So in English, we usually say that it is the ing verb ending. So how do we form the gerund in Spanish? So the gerund in Spanish will be formed like this for the regular verbs, which are what we call los verbos regulares. Because I know by now you understand the difference between regular and irregular from the previous lessons. So we're going to divide this one into two because we have the AR verbs that we already know, the ER and the IR endings. So for AR, we're going to add ando to our stem. Then for A and IR, these ones are sharing the same endings, we add endo. For example, in Spanish you say por ejemplo. For example, let's have the most common verb and the simplest in Spanish is hablar. So hablar means to speak or to talk. To speak or to talk. So if I want to get the gerund of this one, the first step is I'm going to look at the last two letters, then I remove them. I'm going to remain with what we call the stem, which is able. Then I add my ando. So this already becomes the English ing. So hablando in my case will be speaking. So who is speaking? I do not know. Then for ER, you can have something like comer. So what do? I'm going to drop the last two letters. I remain with com, and then I add my endo because this one ends with ER. So I'm going to say comiendo, comiendo, and comer is to eat. So what is comiendo? Try to guess. Eating. This is eating. But we don't know who is eating, remember? But we know that an action is taking place. Now look at this. If it's IR, let's say another verb which is easy, which is escribir. Escribir means to write. So how do I use this one? So I'm going to do the same, drop the last two letters, remain with escrib as my stem. Then after that I'm going to add iendo. Remember iendo because my verb ends with IR. So what do I have? Escribiendo, which is writing, writing. So that's how we form the gerund of the verb that are regular. So you remove the last two letters, add the endings according to the AR, ER, and the IR. So that is very important to understand. So in your study time, you can add more verbs that are irregular so that you can practice saying actions that are going on without showing the person doing it. What about the ones that are irregular? We call them los verbos irregulares. Los verbos irregulares. So these ones will have a different formation from the AR verbs. The ones that are regular, because we said that irregulars don't follow a fixed pattern in their conjugation. For example, we have leer that becomes leyendo, leyendo, reading. But you cannot use what? The pattern for the regular ones for leer because it is not following that pattern. Then for caer we have cayendo, which is falling. So this is reading and this is falling. Remember, it is not like the regular ones. Then we have dormir changing to durmiendo. So my O changes to you. Therefore, my verb qualifies to become what? Irregular because of that small change, remember? Then we have morir. Then we have muriendo. The change is very small from O to U. What is muriendo? This is dying. We have sentir changing to sendendo. Can you see the change? Yes. E to I. Therefore, this becomes feeling. Who is feeling? We don't know. But we know that an action is taking place. Then we have vestir. Look at the E changing to I. We have vistiendo. Vistiendo, which is getting dressed. Who is doing it? We don't know. We have freír, friendo, frying. Can you see the change? Yes, from E to I. Then we have ir, which is to go. We have yendo, which is going. See, this is quite different. Look at the change, very big. Then we have oír, oyendo. This becomes hearing. So you'll be learning more verbs because they're usually many, but this becomes the pattern, though it is not fixed. But for these ones that are regular, the pattern is fixed. Now, we'll be using the gerund to form what we call the present continuous tense. For example, I have what I call the present continuous. In Spanish, we call it presente continuo, el presente continuo, which talks about actions that are ongoing at this moment. So remember, you cannot use the present continuous when that action is not taking place. So how do we form the present continuous? So this is formed from the present tense of the verb estar plus the gerund. So in the introduction, we talked about the conjugation of estar. We said we have estoy, estás, estar, estamos, estáis, and están. So I'm going to use any verb. Let me pick one from the list. Let me pick the verb hablar, which is to speak. Now, if I want to show the present continuous, I must understand the conjugation of estar, which is very important in its present tense. For example, I have estoy. Remember, this is I, which is yo. Then I have my gerund, which is hablando. Hablando. So I'll be saying estoy hablando, which is I am speaking. So who is doing it? It is I, because the subject is very clear. Estoy hablando. If it's you, we use tú. So I'll be saying estás. You can repeat, estás hablando, which is you are speaking. If it is él or ella, you'll be saying está, which is he or she. Let's say ella está hablando, which is a lady, or él está hablando if this is a man. So that is very important to note. Then we can also have nosotros. We know that nosotros is we. For ladies, we use nosotras. Then we say estamos. So remember, this is you are speaking. This is he or she. And then remember, this is we are speaking. This is also important. So when are we doing this action? Now. You can tell someone vosotros or vosotras if you want to use estáis. So say estáis hablando to mean you are speaking when you are many, when I'm referring to you when you are many. And then we have ellos and ellas. We say están hablando when referring to they. You say ellos están hablando, they are speaking. For example, you can say, like let's say Ana, for instance. So you can say Ana está hablando con Carlos. Ana está hablando con Carlos. So Ana is talking to Carlos. Ana is speaking with Carlos. So you can say está lloviendo or está lloviendo. To tell someone it's raining, like I look outside and say, está lloviendo, it is raining. So make sure that these actions are taking place as we talk. You can ask someone, what are you doing? ¿Qué estás haciendo? O ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo? You can add ahora. What are you doing now? You can tell someone, estoy leyendo una novela. Estoy leyendo una novela. What are you doing now? I'm reading a novel. So this is easy to understand because you've already understood the formation of the gerund. We've already done a start, so it's just combining them to make what you call the present continuous. So you'll be doing this in your free time, your study time, so that you can practice telling people what is happening at the moment. Because estamos viajando, we are traveling. Estamos escribiendo, we are writing. Then from there you'll be very confident, and then you'll be fluent when using these ones. So that marks the end of that topic. I wish you all the best as you practice. So we say again, muchas gracias. Ciao.